Over the past 5 years, I've employed more than 50 individuals between the age of 18 and 26, and if you include contractors into that, it's well over 100. Now, just because you do something so many times over and over again does not make you an expert in it, and certainly I would not qualify myself as an expert into leadership, hiring, culture, etc. However, when you do something over and over again, you start to figure out patterns, you develop pattern recognition, and then you can create proactive solutions according to that. Now, over the past 2 years, Trndsttrs has lived by what we call our Trndsttrs Bible, a set of principles that guide us into our decision-making about onboarding new talent, guiding our existing talent of 18 to 26-year-olds, and ensuring that our team is always pushing towards a better future. What I'll be doing is outlining all 6 of these principles in a little bit of a mini-series here on LinkedIn, and I'll post the full video out to YouTube. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 principles that guide all of our decision-making at Trndsttrs. The first principle, and arguably the most foundational, comes from the Latin term curiosita, otherwise known as a childlike sense of curiosity. Now, this is a very literal principle. You know how children always question why things work? Why is the sky blue? Why do we go to church on Sundays? Why do we go and do the things that we do? It is that sense of curiosity, why we do the status quo, that drives a childlike sense of curiosity. Oftentimes, the most innovative and quote-unquote disruptive ideas aren't quite innovative nor disruptive. They simply challenge the status quo in which we exist. Because a child's mind is the most liberated form of ingenuity. It is courageous enough to peer outside the box. Children are naive simply because they've never told themselves no. Either you believe and conform or create a better path to believe in. Principle number 2, and arguably the most controversial, is radical transparency. This is the belief that we shoot it straight at all times. No lying, no fabricating the truth, no sugarcoating a compliment or a criticism, because being honest is the quickest way to define our focus as a team. The process of collaboration blurs when we hold back truthful opinions about each other and our output. Progress is not something we can accomplish alone. Criticism can feel like dirt on your name, but we decide to use that shit as fertilizer to fuel our growth. Change is neither good nor bad. It simply is. Your reaction to it determines whether it is positive or negative. Be honest, be truthful, be radically transparent. Principle number 3, and the one most lacking in young people today, is what we define as ownership. Unless you acknowledge the foundation that you need built, it becomes impossible to grow and uplift others. You need to be comfortable owning the wins, the losses, and everything in between. Own it. Every brand partner we work with is not a separate entity, but rather we take pride in ownership as if that brand were our own. We are not a third-party vendor, we are a partner. You cannot be great at what you do until you take on a sense of pride and ownership as if that thing were yours. Only then can you do what is necessary to succeed. Principle number 4, and the most prominent among Gen Z, is altruism. Brands should understand consumers for who they are, not what they buy. At the human core, we wish for nothing more but to be heard and understood. The idea that we see you establishes a connection worth cultivating. We, as a tiny agency in the middle of the country, we don't have the power, but we have the potential and the potency to work with powerful brands to see humans and Gen Z for who they are, adapting the ways of brand partners for the good of humanity. Put simply, it is our mission to make the world a better place through the vehicle that we know best, and to work with brand partners and client partners in the largest corporate companies in the world to make that mission a reality. Principle number 5, and my personal favorite, is agility. Agility is a lot different from speed, and here's the reason as to why. Agility is not running as fast as you can at all times. In fact, it's sometimes the opposite. It's knowing when to move fast, but also knowing when to slow down. Like a wide receiver, if you're simply sprinting through your routes all the time, you're never gonna shake your defender. You need to speed up, slow down, throw in a juke move. That's how you ultimately get open. Similarly to the work we do, some days you gotta go in, sprint, and simply get things done. Other times you need to take strategic efforts, slow down, spend time thinking, use the whiteboard, and play the long game. But you need to know and have the agility to understand the distinction for when to move fast fast and when to move slow. Because it's not about how fast you get there, it's about how fast you're moving when you do. Principle number 6, and our final principle that guides our thinking at Trendsetters, is personal evolution. Personal evolution is the idea that beyond your efforts inside of our organization, are you committed to you personally, your own personal growth, development, and evolution. It's the idea that beyond the output of our work inside of our company and organization, that ultimately this should be an engine that serves you at a personal level most. A true trendsetter strives to exceed to be better than the person they were the day before.